Hey Yoga fam, Jessie here. I hope you are well where you are today, and I'm glad you decided to take a little time for yourself on the mat. We're going to do a gentle, easy, almost like just a stretching practice today to get everything in the body moving a little, say hello, and then we're going to lay down and rest. This is really just an opportunity to connect with yourself where you are. There isn't an expectation attached to it. There isn't really even a big message this morning. It's really like sometimes we just need to get in the body. And so that's what we're going to do. If you want to sit up on a pillow or a cushion, you can grab a bolster if you've got one. If you have a yoga blanket or a strap, I don't have any props nearby, so we'll see if I need them. We might not. We're not going to get into anything too fancy. So please use what you need when you need it. Um, yeah. So gather what you would like to have around you. I'm sitting up on some height so that my knees are a little lower than my hips. That feels good in my body. That might not feel good for you. You might want to put something under your knees. You might just want to sit flat on the floor. Let yourself settle here. Sometimes that means moving, trying things out. Feel free to let your hands rest on your lap or in your legs, maybe alongside your body or over your heart. And bring your awareness to the way your breath fills up in your body. Almost like there were little balloons that you were inflating with every breath in. And see if you can notice what parts of your chest and shoulders, maybe your back or belly, fill up when you breathe. If you want, when you breathe out, you can try to exhale more air than you took in. But just to see, like, what's it like to press air out at the bottom of your breath? A few more rounds, deep, full breath. If you're like me, making a noise when you breathe out might feel good and natural, albeit a little bit silly. It's good for your body, it's good for your breath. Do whatever you need and want. One more big full breath all the way in. Maybe even hold your breath at the top. And then big exhale. Let it go. Let your breath settle and move naturally. And really, like, that's the quickest way I know to connect with my body is a minute or so of really full breath, bringing in oxygen, releasing CO2. It gives you a minute to just focus on the here and now. And so that breath will be there for you as we start to move our body more. And it's there for you even when you're off the mat. And let your chin fall down towards your chest. And breathe into the back of your neck and shoulders. Notice if the weight of your head pulled your shoulders forward. Try to resist that. See if you can keep the chest lifted and really from like your C7T1, that's like your vertebrae and your spine at your shoulders up towards your head. Let that come down forward. And if you'd like, you could roll your head side to side. That's one option. Another option might be just turning the head left to right to feel your range of motion there, or a combination of those things. You could make up a movement. If and only if it feels okay, you could roll your head back. For some people that feels really crappy, and for other people it feels really good. So you get to decide which type of human you are in regards to that. And come back through center. If at any point you want to switch the cross of your legs or change how you're sitting, help yourself. My foot was kind of going to sleep, so I felt the urge to move it. You don't have to if you don't want. We're going to bring our fingertips onto our shoulders and imagine like we had paint brushes on our elbows. We're going to make some big circles. If you're anything like me, you're hearing all sorts of creaky, crunchy stuff as you move. Just notice that. Getting the crepitus moving. Switch directions. So go the other way. You might find new creaky, crunchy stuff. Or you could alternate or swim your shoulders around. That might feel good. And then come back through center. Bring your arms up so that you can grab opposite elbows with your hands. If that's not working for you, you could just lift your arms or keep your elbows bent here. But if you've got your elbows with your hands, press them into one another. Almost like you were trying to stretch your shoulder blades apart and hug them together at the same time. It might feel like that noise I just made sounded. And then option to either bring your chest forward and up through your arm bones. Or round your back and try to curl a little. Again, you could add some free movement or adjust as you see fit. And then release your arms and take a moment to either move or stay still. When you come back through center, just notice like there might be sensation or warmth in parts of your body that we've stretched. You might feel the urge to start moving other parts of your body because that felt good or interesting. So we'll keep going. Let's see. Bring your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, and flip your palms towards the ceiling or the sky. Maybe some side to side movements here, or again, forward through a little extension, or forward, depending on how you think about forward, into some flexion. And then release the grip and twist to the right. Bring your left hand to your right leg and your right hand either to the ground, to a prop, or to your low back. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, release your shoulders. A couple of times, just like that. Inhale, shrug them up. Exhale, release them down. One more. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release. See if you can keep your shoulders released. Sit up tall. Rotate your spine. So almost thinking about like growing up out of your hips, out of your shoulders, instead of like your shoulders crunching and lifting you. Option to turn your head behind you if that's okay for your neck. Big breath out. Look forward. Keep your left hand where it is. Reach your right arm up into the air, over to the side. Lean away from your hand and arm. Open your chest towards the ceiling. And then reach forward, round your back. Keep your left hand, bring your right hand to your left thigh. So now your arms are crossed. Curl your back, tuck your chin, press your legs into your hands. And then, release. And come all the way back through the middle. Again, just check in. Notice how you're feeling, what you're feeling. Inhale, arms lift. And exhale, interlace your fingers, press your palms up. Anything that feels good here is good. And then rotate towards the left, right hand to your leg, left hand to your bolster or back or the floor. And a couple of times, shrug your shoulders up, and then let them go. Keep going. Move with your breath. Contract and then release. One more. Shrug them up, and then let them go. See if you can fill your breath up like balloons, like we were doing in the very beginning of our practice. And see if that can offer some movement and space in the body, just the breath. So that ability that it had to connect us to ourselves when that was all we were doing is still here, even though we're doing a little bit more. One more big breath in. Exhale, look forward. Bring your left arm up into the air and use holding your left leg to lean to the right. Open up through your side body and chest. And then close it up. Cross your left hand to the right thigh. Tuck your chin around your shoulders. And come all the way back up. All right. We're going to come to hands and knees for just a little bit. So in a tabletop position, shoulders are over the wrists, hips are above the knees. We're going to move any way that we want. That could be cat and cow, moving through flexion and extension of your spine. That could be some C curves side to side, some lateral flexion in the body. And then we're going to bring our toes together, knees apart, hips sit back, arms crawl forward, child's pose. You want to let your forehead rest on something here. So if the floor feels unreasonably far away, one option would just be stacking your palms, and so you can let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. You could also grab your bolster or a block if that's going to serve you better. But with your forehead on the floor, come back to watching your breath. Come all the way back up to hands and knees. Keep the breath going. So even as we start to move, stay with that filling up of your breath in and out. Maybe that offers you some movement, something that just feels natural to do. And then we're going to bring the right foot forward, bent front knee, both hands inside your front leg. So, my hip just cracked. I don't know if you could hear that on camera, but maybe you heard it in real life. We're going to shift our hips forwards and backwards. Actually, I'm going to show the other leg because it's closer to the camera. So like knee is bent, chest is lifted, and then hips lift, leg straightens, chest folds. So we're just going to pulse back and forth like this at your pace and interest. Like this is a made up movement, which means you get to make it up. If you're like, am I doing this right? The answer is yes. As long as you're not hurting yourself, the answer is yes. And then when you're ready to switch sides, no rush to do so. I'm just following my own body right now. Your body might feel real different. So take your time. The point is that we are connecting to ourselves. So if at any point you feel disconnected or far away, just come back to the breath, even if it's only for a moment or two. Hmm. Come all the way back to all fours. This time we're going to step one foot back at a time for down dog. And we're not going to be here very long. I'm not even going to take my socks off. Um, this is a down dog with no rules. So I'm going to step my feet closer and then maybe walk my hands out. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to sway my hips. I'm going to move around in it. So don't feel stuck in the idea of down dog. And instead, see if you can use your hips in the air with your hands and feet on the floor to connect to what you're feeling in your body. A couple more rounds of big, full breath. See if you can hammock your spine more wherever you are. From your hips, let things go down into your head and neck. Find child's pose. Toes together, knees apart. Sit your hips back. Breathe. Come up onto your hands and knees again. We're going to lift the right arm up into the air so that you open the front of the chest, shoulders come together, and then thread the needle. Reach all the way under your left armpit so that the side of your arm, shoulder, and head can come to the floor or to a prop. So if you've got a pillow or a bolster or a blanket or block that you want to slide under your head, I'm going to do that today. Not because my head doesn't come to the floor, but because I think it feels good when I get a little extra support. Your top arm can crawl anywhere you want. You could bring it to your low back. You could walk your fingertips around kind of behind your head or crawl your top arm forward. Wherever you are, just take a few more rounds of deep, full breath. Try to fill up all the space between your shoulders and in your neck and in your hips. And when you're ready, unwind. Maybe a funny noise escapes. And then we'll go the other direction. So right hand stays down, left arm lifts, and then thread it under and through. Oh. You might have to move things around, but trust that that is part of the pose. Knowing what you want is part of how we connect to ourselves. So even just like this thing is in my way, is part of how we figure that out, how we practice, how we connect to where we are. Couple more big, deep breaths. And then unwind. Oh, come all the way back through the middle. Option for a down dog, a child's pose, hands and knees stretching, whatever feels good. And then we're going to bring our right foot forward. Feel free to cushion your back knee with a blanket if we're going to be in a low lizard lunge. So you may want to zhuzh it up a bit. You could bring something under your hands or forearms. I often like to put a pillow or a blanket underneath the front of my back thigh. I feel like that gives me more support and more stretch somehow. And then we're just going to take 5 to 10 deep, full breaths here. So nothing too fancy, nothing specific. Just breathe. And watch how your breath fills and empties this shape. Very slowly, when you're ready, walk yourself up. My body wanted to straighten the front leg for a runner stretch variation. You don't have to do that. You could do child's pose, you could do down dog, you could take a twist. But see, like, what do you offer yourself after all you did was show up and notice? What was here that maybe was unexpected? And eventually, when you're ready to, we'll switch sides if you're not already there. Oh, second side might need something different, so don't pigeonhole yourself into thinking that both legs should be the same. They're definitely not. And even if this feels tight or unfamiliar, try to find a glimpse of yourself in your breath. Again, maybe there's another pose that shows up after that low lizard lunge. Maybe your body's not interested in that on this side. Maybe there's something different. Just allow things, time and space to move. And when you're ready, shake it out. Take one last downward facing dog or hands and knees or child's pose. Wherever you are, let your head get heavy. Maybe even flutter your lips on your exhales just to release tension in the face and jaw. And come all the way down onto your back. So when I lie on my back, I always like something under my head, a blanket or a pillow. You might want a bolster or something nearby to put under your knees when we rest in Shavasana. We're not there quite yet, but we're close. So we want to have all our accoutrement waiting for us. All right. So once you get onto the ground, we're going to put our feet on the floor, knees bent. Right ankle crosses over the left knee. Suchi Yantrasana, eye of the needle pose. And you can take your figure 4 stretch wherever you want to go. So your left foot could stay on the floor. You could hug your knees in. You could extend the bottom leg. Or some variation, maybe moving between those places or moving within those places. Another option, if you feel like you're looking for even more sensation in the hips, is to grab your shin and hug it in towards your chest. and switch sides. When you're in the middle, it might feel good to windshield wiper the knees or hug them in. Follow your own lead. And let the second side be its own. So instead of trying to replicate what you felt on the first side, just let this be what it is and see if you can offer yourself what that needs. Even if it's just breathing in a little deeper. Oh yeah, no, my second side does not want the same things as the first side at all. And even that awareness of like, ooh, that wasn't it, is going to get us closer to whatever is. When you're ready to release that, come all the way back through the middle and give yourself an easy twist. So an easy twist is open to interpretation. It can be as simple as dropping your knees to the sides. It could be hugging the legs in to drop them left and right. It could also be like one knee in to cross over the body. Make sure you get enough time in both directions, but no need to overthink it or overdo it. We'll just offer our spine a little bit of this kind of wringing out action here at the end of our practice. And then one more symmetrical something when you get onto your back. So maybe a happy baby pose, or just your knees into your chest. And we'll come into Shavasana when you're ready. So find yourself in a comfortable position where you can rest for a few minutes. I've got something under my head and now a pillow or bolster under my knees. If you want to put your legs up on something, on a chair or a couch, that feels great. You could also throw your legs up the wall or sit with your back against the wall. Sometimes that's a great way to help rest. Couple of breaths all the way out. If you're wearing glasses, feel free to take them off so that your face can relax even more. And we'll take a few minutes to just be and breathe. And notice yourself breathing. And for a couple of rounds of inhales and exhales, just watch. What is it like to be breathing here on the floor? And slowly start to move things around. You could stretch out long or hugging close. Roll over to one side for a breath or two and give your nervous system a chance to um, figure out that we're going to sit up. And then use your hands to help you do just that. Oh. And find an easy seated position. Maybe it's the same one you started in, maybe not. It's not for me. And bring your hands somewhere in your lap, on your legs, in front of your heart. Offer yourself a moment to reflect. How does it feel to have moved your body? Not with any purpose, not with any goal, just to experience movement. Just to notice your breath. What is it like to connect to ourselves just for the sheer pleasure of connection? It's always there for you. Your breath, your body, your practice. And thank you all so much for sharing that today. Heal yourselves, yogis, and have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.